Since the drama around East vs West started to settle down a little bit now, we will take a look at Levan's future possible opponents and rank them by who has the best chance of actually beating him. Number 15, Saur Paisulaev. Saur looked incredible before his bicep tear and was considered to be the next Levan Slayer. Saur does basically the same thing as Levan, a massive posting top roll, but he's just a bit weaker all around, so his chances of actually defeating him are near zero. So let's give Saur some more time to improve and to prove himself once again. At number 14 we have Revas Lutice. After being the first guy to beat Dave Chaffee as dominantly as only Levan had at that time, Revas was also considered a potential Levan Slayer. But after his brutal loss to Tseranov, the hype quickly died. His chance of beating Levan is also almost zero, seeing as he is another top roller who is just not quite at the same level. Number 13, Gennady Kvykvinia. In his last outing, Gennady looked a bit off, likely due to his massive weight cut. And he seemingly also hasn't recovered 100% from his bicep tear yet. Stylistically, with his quick flop press, he would have a decent chance if he ever got back to peak strength. But that doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon, which is why he is only at the number 13 spot at the moment. Number 12, Alex Kurdecha. Like some of the guys before him, Alex does basically the same thing as Levan. He has a strong and big hand, he is well-rounded, but at the very top level he is just not that exceptional in any of the moves. He's also not the fastest or the trickiest arm wrestler out there, so the match would probably be pretty uneventful with, as always, close to 0% chance of winning. Number 11, Georgi Tseranov. This guy has an insane amount of strength, if he can keep his hand. But seeing as he had zero chance of doing that against Vitaly Laletin, I just can't imagine that it would be much different with Levan Saginashvili. And I'm not sure about his flop press, even though it looked pretty good against MacLeod. I'm not convinced that it would be necessarily useful against Levan. And now we're moving into the top 10. Number 10, Georgi Tsvetkov. The same thing we said about Saur, Revas and Alex also apply to Georgi. The difference is the amount of wrist strength that he has when he is in peak form, as seen in his match against Devon Larratt. It probably wouldn't help him much, as Levan is still significantly stronger, but I believe that he has at least a better chance than the previously mentioned top rollers. Coming in at number 9, Ermes Gasparini. We have Ermes again ranked pretty high on my list, even though he just got beaten by Levan in very dominant fashion. That just goes to show how crazy Levan is. Ermes vs Levan 1 will always be one of the most amazing matches that we have ever seen, and if Levan was somehow off or missed his peak or something, and Ermes could get into his defensive flop press position again, he might just sneak in a win. Number 8, Ibrahim Sagov. Now I know what you're thinking, this one is a little bit far-fetched. But we haven't seen Levan go against a conventional presser in quite a long time. And the improvements that Sagov seems to be making are also incredibly impressive, looking at his Gennady match that he won in such a dominant fashion. It could be interesting to see this match if Sagov decided to bulk up and go for a super heavyweight run. Number 7, Artyom Morozov. We all know about this guy's immense strength level at his still very young age. But just like Sagov, he is probably pretty unlikely to get into his strong inside lane. And as we've seen against Kurdecha, he will not be able to top roll Levan at all without losing his own wrist, and the side pressure finish will also not be possible against a guy who is curling 180 kilograms. But overall, I feel like Morozov probably still has a better chance of winning than the previously mentioned guys. At the number 6 spot, we have Denis Tsiplenkov. My Denis is ranked very high on this list, and here is why. If he ever gets back to the form that he was in against Devon Larratt in 2023, and if Levan somehow had to put in as much effort as Devon did to get through Denis's open top roll, there is a very small possibility that Levan could gas out. That's pretty unlikely, of course, but unique styles and very sticky arm wrestlers have to be the better option against somebody like Levan Saginashvili than your regular hook puller or your regular top roller. So let's hope that our Denis is able to return once again. At the number 5 spot we have Kamil Jablonski, a super quick and explosive flop presser who might be able to bypass Levan's huge and strong hand and get a quick pin or maybe stop him in an awkward position. But chances are Levan just grips him low, and that's the end of that story. Coming in at number 4 is Cherry Kadaret. Cherry again? Yes, Cherry again. He's of course a flop presser like Kamil Jablonski, but overall in my opinion, a little bit better. Cherry's endurance is also amazing. If he can get a stop, he can stay in that position forever. And even though he just got destroyed by Levan, we haven't seen them pull in a strap yet. So if Cherry is somehow able to slip, we might see at least a little bit of a different match. He might look better than last time, or Levan could just run him over again. So let's take a look at our top 3. At the number 3 spot we have Vitaly Laletin. The giant Russian who already stopped Levan Saginashvili in center in very impressive fashion back in the top 8 finals. He has the hand size to match Levan. He is very strong, explosive, he recovers very well between rounds. That all sounds great until you start thinking about how he is actually supposed to beat Levan. Vitaly lost his wrist against MacLeod in the middle of the table, so we can be sure that he is definitely not taking hand control. His newly acquired flop press is also definitely not strong enough to go through him, and he hasn't shown that he can do it off the go yet, only as a transition after his usual top roll hit. I would obviously give him better odds than the guys before him on the list, but crazily enough, that would still be almost 0. Number 2, MacLeod. This might come as a surprise, but the world's best Kings mover is coming in at the number 2 spot. MacLeod is the stickiest, weirdest puller that we have in the top 10 at the moment. And he's taking everybody's wrist, at least near to the pin pad. Chances are Levan would go through him without even needing to transition to a press. But honestly, in my opinion, we have to see this match. Michael has at least some chances of winning. And at the very least, Levan would get to prove that he can defeat one more technique, cementing his legacy if they were to face off. Everybody knows exactly who is missing on this list. The number 1 threat that we have in the world against Levan Saginashvili is 50-year-old Devon Larratt. Even after getting beaten twice, he remains the most well-rounded, sticky and enduring athlete with the strongest hand in the world besides Levan. He also has the hand size to apply it effectively. If anybody were to do it, it would be Devon. Despite all of the circumstances, it has to be said, Devon Larratt stopped Levan Saginashvili in center, took his wrist, made him flop press and even held his flop press in a, of course, illegal Kings move, but still. The round only ended because of Devon getting fouled out and not because of Levan pinning him. And that was while weighing 20 kilograms less than he does right now. There is just nobody who has a better chance to do the impossible. Their 3rd match could actually be it. Or we will just get another uneventful stomp, as always. We will see what the future holds. Let me know in the comments if you agree with the order of the guys on this list, and if I forgot to include somebody who should be on here. Also, do you think anyone we mentioned even has the slightest chance against Levan? Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.